Now, welcome to the edition of Revealing God. I'm your host, Brother Victor. Today, we're talking about dealing with the root. Now, for every problem, there's actually a source of that problem, and once there's a source, you're dealing with the output. Then you still might probably have that problem repeating itself. When people in life are faced with issues, and they are actually fighting the branches, I would call it, because they don't realize it's a root, which is the source of that problem. Now, I drew a tree for an example, and a tree always has an hidden part, which is the root, which is under the ground. So most problems that people have faced are hidden and are not aware. But in the physical, the tree is out, and what they are saying is just that there is a tree with branches. And once you cut that tree from the stem or cut off the branches, it doesn't mean you kill the tree, because the roots are still there. So the way you can kill the tree is to get the roots dead. Kill the root, uproot root, the roots of the tree, then you can get that tree dead. So people are dealing with problems in life, and they don't realize that these problems have roots, and those roots require being dealt with for you to remove the branches. So many people have challenges, repeated circular problem, repeated patterns of death in the family, bad luck, and certain things which have spiritual foundation based on an altar. An altar empowers the spirit to work against people positively or negatively in physical. When it is positive, it's called a blessing. When it is negative, it's called a curse. So people are living on that day and they don't know, and they think it's normal. But there's a repeated pattern of sickness in your family, happened to your father, happened to your grandfather, happened to now it's happening in your own dispensation or your generation. We have to know that anything that has a pattern, it's backed up by these spiritual roots, which is empowered by an altar. So the only way you deal with it is what I call RAM. R-A-M. That's number one, recognize. The problem. Recognize the problem. When you recognize that this is where it is coming from, then you have maybe 50% won the battle, because it is hidden. As I said, the root is hidden. So is many people's source of problem hidden. But so they're dealing with just the branches, and they are not getting that problem stopped. So it's repeating and repeating itself. You're fighting this battle, but the battle keeps going on because the root has not been dealt with. Number two is to attack the root. So you attack the root to get that root destroyed. Once you get that root destroyed, because you just caused the tree, the tree was still there. When they came back the next day, they saw that tree was dead, because it died first from the root, and then the branches died. If it died from the leaf only died, then it will go back once there's water. So it just caused that tree, and it died from the root. So you attack your problem from the root. When you identify the problem, you attack it from the root. And the only way you can fight spiritual things which are based on spiritual altars is to use an higher altar, which is the altar of Jesus Christ. You have access to when you're born again. When you're born again, you have access to what the sacrifice Jesus has paid. The Bible says Jesus has redeemed us from the cost of the law, so that we might inherit the blessing of Jesus Christ through Abraham, through Jesus Christ. So this is what we must realize, that you can't attack an altar with just mere words. You must attack it with an higher altar, and that altar is the altar of Jesus Christ. That's the greatest altar, because what Jesus did on the cross was shedding his life for the sake of mankind, so that he could establish a greater and higher covenant. You can read that through the books of Hebrews, talking about we have not come to an altar that is of the Old Testament, but a new altar which is residing in heaven. So that is to attack the root. Then number three is maintain your ground. If the fact that you destroyed the root doesn't mean that the enemy won't to establish it, because once they are established before, they will try to come back to reestablish it. Remember, just talk about the man, that was probably possessed, and the demon was cast out of him. He said the demon will come and see if the house is swept and empty. Then it will try to bring some more wicked spirit, but it could hold the ground better than before. So we have to understand that maintaining your ground is to keep living the lowly life and avoiding the things that initially allow those altars to exist, and which is sin. Sin is a mighty one. To avoid the things like sin that will allow the devil re-establish these evil covenants back. Take away fear, put on faith, and walk with Jesus Christ. But if you're not born again, you can enjoy the benefit of God's deliverance to attack the root and to maintain your ground. So, but I think Paul was saying that having done all to stand, we should stand therefore. That means standing against the work of darkness. You can't stand if you're not born again. So if you're not giving life to Christ, just say the prayer on the screen, and if you're already giving your life to Christ, tell somebody about Jesus Christ. So I hope to see you again. God bless you.